What is up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of the Effing Podcast. Today, we are breaking down everything that happened last weekend. Japanese Grand Prix. Red Bull clinches the championship with no help from Checo Perez. We're talking about a lot of teams that have some drama that's unfolding. We're breaking everything down. Also, big shout out to Sony again for sponsoring up this week. If you haven't had the chance to go see the Gran Turismo movie, go and check it out. It is truly life-changing. I know it's given people like me who sim race for probably 10 hours a day, hope that I could someday be out on the grid. I was wearing the swag and the gear last week. Bo's got it on this week. And if you're looking to get your hands on some cool sunglasses, some posters, some fanny packs, send us a DM. All right, guys, let's do this.
Are we starting with news or are we starting with the race?
I think we just go race.
All right.
And then if we got some news, we'll chat about it.
I got some news, but first, Japanese Grand Prix. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk Japan, man.
It was another great race.
Yeah, I think you're a little bit more bullish on this one than I am. I think this was a fine race. It was a fine race. It was a race. There was enough that happened in this. Would I put it in the top, 4 of the season? Nah.
Definitely.
I don't think so.
Definitely.
But, we got a lot to unpack here, man.
There's a ton. All right, if you throw out the fact that Verstappen won, because obviously Verstappen was going to win again after his hangover race last week in Singapore. If you throw that out, the rest of the field, interesting stuff happened.
A lot of interesting shit happened, yeah. And I think what I like about this race, too, is there's a lot of in-team fighting,
Yeah,
a lot of,
okay. I have a lot of notes on this.
Maybe we say, incest, is that a little too fucked up to say, in-team fighting is ancestral fighting?
But I don't know if that's the right way of phrasing it.
I don't think it's the right word, maybe not. But either way, we had a lot of good drama that came out of this race.
Yes, absolutely. So let's just start at the beginning of the weekend with qualifying and run straight through the race.
Yeah.
So qualifying, Max Verstappen is very, very fast. And so I heard a rumor that in Q3, so by the way, he was the only one to break 129. He got to 128.9. My understanding is he wasn't even going to take a last hot lap. And then Horner over the radio made a comment like, well, that's fine because you couldn't break 129 anyway.
Wow.
And he basically was like, watch this. What's that line from The Bear that's been really popular on TikTok where he's like,
the cooking show?
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about? And
I know
one
what the show is. I've never seen it.
There's a famous line from it where he's like, and then it really pissed me off. And so I said, all right, watch this. No? Okay. Anyway, that's basically what
I was thinking more of the Michael Jordan meme from The Last Dance where he goes, and I took that personally.
Yeah, and I took that personally.
I think that was literally Max's weekend here after he had a blunder of a race in Singapore. He literally goes, guys, I'm not going anywhere. I'm still here. I think he led every practice session. His gap in qualifying, he finished a second before his teammate. He beat Checo by a second. He was a half a second in front of the next car and then proceeded to lead every single lap of the race. He literally goes, hey, fuck you to everyone else. Yeah. Put his little ding-along on the table and said, hey, guys, forget about me. I'm here.
Yeah,
I'm right here.
It wasn't close for even a second. But I do love that just shows a competitive spirit that he's already in P1 and Horner knows how to get under his skin and just push for a little bit more. Yeah. And I also love that they did push for a little bit more. In qualifying, Max P1, Piastri in P2, Norris in P3. Awesome showing from McLaren. They're once again on the rise. They've completely flipped the narrative on Aston Martin, which is really awesome. Hopefully we continue to see that. Leclerc P4 did fine. Checo P5. Nothing else super interesting on the board. Yuki Tsunoda made it to Q3, which is pretty nice for him after effectively two DNSs in a row.
Yeah.
He definitely needed that.
Yuki loves the
He needed a start this weekend. Yuki just needed to start a race.
He started.
Yeah, he's not used to it. Lap 2, what is this?
What a race to start, though, at your home race. If there's ever a race to race.
Dude, the Japanese fans, too, are some of the best fans on
100%.
the grid, man. The way that these stands looked this weekend, it looked like there were more fans at this race than any other fans. I don't know if they just pack them all into grandstands and they only have 6 main grandstands, but they did those slow zoom out and the people just kept appearing and appearing. They all have these crazy hats on, the paper mache, all they're just so happy to fucking be there, man.
Yeah, so I thought you said stands at first, like M&M stands. And I agree with the stands with a D.
Yeah, what'd you think
also
I said?
I thought you said stands, like being like a stan, like a huge fan of somebody.
I've never heard of that before.
Wait, what?
Yeah, like a stand?
Do you know the song "Stand" by Eminem?
Yeah.
You know that phrase.
It's a great song.
No.
What?
I've never heard that phrase before, though.
Yeah.
What? Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
do you know the song "Stand" by Eminem, Jake?
No.
It's a good one.
Okay,
it's
you
a
should look
classic.
it up. Like this
I'm
is
not an
homework
Eminem
for you.
guy, though.
It's fine. You don't even have to be an Eminem guy. This is homework for you.
And then
Stan
when I
is
thought you
about-
mentioned Eminem, my mind went like the candy M&Ms.
Oh my
I was like,
goodness!
what the-
my goodness!
What the fuck are you talking about?
So, so in the song is supposed to be this fan named Stan, who's obsessed with Eminem, and it's a series of letters that he writes Eminem, and he becomes more and more divulged or like dark over time, and he ends up killing himself and his like wife because Eminem won't acknowledge him.
Wow.
And so it's a very like pop culturally famous song, and a stan is somebody who's like an unbelievably deep fan of somebody. So if you've never heard someone say like, "Oh, you're just standing LeBron," or "You're standing
Bro, no, never heard
Taylor
of it.
Swift," okay,
Literally
all the
never heard of this
Swifties are
before.
Taylor Swift stans.
Bro, get out your walker, man.
No, this is a huge thing. No, you guys are.
Do you have
no.
tennis balls on that guy?
Yeah.
No. I am based on this. You guys are so.
Yeah,
it's
Eminem's last album was fucking sick.
it's a no, dude.
Rap
this song,
god.
This song, Stan, is from like the early 2000s.
Nah, dude, he's a rap god, man.
You
he raps
guys
fast.
are-
He rhymes orange with door hinge. We get it. It's sick.
It's literally from the year 2000. You guys are.
No, bro. No,
Okay, regardless, I thought you said, which would make more sense. I thought you said the Japanese Grand Prix had a lot of stands, and I was like, yes, they did. I even saw a woman who was dressed head to toe in Logan Sargent stuff.
Yeah,
What?
dude, they're
Yes.
unreal. They're
A
crazy.
Japanese fan?
Yes, who
That's
head to toe
hilarious.
was like wearing Logan Sargent stuff, had like a sign with his face on it, like I love Sargent. It was amazing.
How does someone else, like not even from Japan, but from like another country, become obsessed with Logan Sargent? Like,
Dude,
what?
he's a good looking guy.
He's fun. He's American.
I mean, yeah, I
Some-
guess.
yeah.
Naturally, he's very
But he's
cool.
so bad.
Yeah, he's bad.
Yeah.
I think we'll talk
He's
about
not
him
even
today.
average.
We'll talk about him today, dude.
We'll get to him. But anyway, I agree with that. I don't know how we got on that tangent.
Yeah.
But
Let's
just really quick, just to finish off qualifying and move on to the actual race. Speaking of Logan Sargent, DNF'd in qualifying.
Yeah,
Big
bad luck for
time,
him, man.
Yeah, big time. George Russell straight to the wall.
Dude, he's in the hot seat. Kind of talked about this last weekend too.
Oh, yeah.
The man has just got to put something. He's just got to not crash. I don't know if you've seen these like deconstructor where they're saying which driver has caused the most damage and like a value to that.
Yeah.
I think he's number one. He is number one, and he's also on a team that has like zero budget to fix a fucking car.
Yeah, I'm pretty
and
sure.
then number two is Checo.
He's
which,
cost
just shit. Dude, like that's the last list you want to be at the top
Yeah.
of.
He's
At the
cost-
bottom, Max Verstappen, 220K.
Yeah, I was gonna
dude.
say his was
Yeah.
like 200,000.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm pretty sure
Probably
Logan's
just
was
tires,
like
you know?
tens of millions.
Yeah.
Literally absurd. Okay, let's move on to the race itself. Obviously, we spoke about Max. Max is Max. Max
Yeah.
is very fast.
Super Max, dude, he fucking dominated this race. I think whenever you gotta talk about Max, you gotta talk about Checo. Because this was the worst he's looked all season. And he looked bad last race in Singapore. Bro, he looked horrible.
It was
Horrible.
I mean, dude, he retired twice.
Yeah, a double DNF.
Which, by the way, they have now changed the rule for this. You can no longer do this. So he retired the car, but he had a penalty that he didn't serve. And so to not get further penalized, he jumped back in the car, brought it back out to serve his penalty, and then retired again.
Yeah, dude, he had that like, and then smart by Red Bull for making that happen. Smart by the FIA to now make that illegal after it's already happened. You know, classic FIA not knowing how to make rules. But dude, he just looked clumsy all fucking weekend. I think Japan, it's like a big confidence track where if you race well here, it means you're feeling good about yourself, the car, how you're doing. Perez looked horrible. So I'm going to say he's very unconfident by this metaphor here we got going on. He had that.
Confirmed not confident.
Yeah, he's not worried about his seat, right? And this shows it perfectly, dude. He basically harpooned into Magnussen, was like way behind him, had a horrible lockup. He had that weird incident with Norris too when the virtual safety car came out. He like kind of pushed him off the track. Like dude, him, also Verstappen. Red Bull also has clinched the constructor
I was
championship.
gonna say we buried the lead on this.
So Red Bull clinches constructor championship, and perfect summary is the fact that Max won this race, Checo DNF'd, and they clinched the constructor. And if there's not a better like race to encapsulate the season, I don't know what is, but that's Red Bull's story this whole fucking season.
Yeah, and so just also for reference on that same point, Max currently has 400 points in the Drivers' Championship, and Checo is in second, but has 223 points. So almost a 200-point gap between the two. This has got to be the largest gap ever for a constructors. It has to be.
And you said Max is how many?
400.
Mercedes is in second place, constructors at 305. So
yeah.
He has 100 more points by himself.
Well, and Lewis
to everyone else combined.
Lewis is sneaking up on him. So Lewis is currently in P3 for the drivers at 190. I mean, he'll sneak up on Checo very quickly here.
Checo not finish second.
Yeah, the drivers potentially.
That's embarrassing, man.
Oh, I know. It was so bad. I saw a couple. Let me just give you a couple of radio memes really quick. So I saw a very funny one of a bunch of people that were trying to push a pickup truck that was stuck in the mud.
I saw this.
Did you see this?
Yeah.
And so it was all these guys like outside the pickup truck pushing it from the back, but one guy standing in the bed of the truck pushing the back of the cab. And it said Perez's contribution to the constructor's title, which was so spot on. It was so good. And then the second one I saw was, have you seen that meme of Anakin Skywalker looking at Padme and saying something? And it says, Red Bull had a double DNF. And then Padme goes, so Max retired, right? And then Anakin looks at her again. And then she goes, so Max retired, right? Yeah, it was one of those, which was so good too, because Red Bull 2 DNFs. Or 2 retirements rather, with both of them being Checo. And a win.
And a constructor clinch.
Crazy.
Yeah. I mean, hats off to Red Bull this season for just being fucking dominate. Hats off to Max for being dominant, man, because you can't say Red Bull's being dominant. Max is being dominant, man.
So I'm not sure how many points away he is from clinching the Drivers' Championship. I would imagine he's got to be close.
So I think it's if he wins the sprint race this weekend, he clinches.
He got it?
Yeah.
So let's say he clinches. Do they swap out his seat?
Nah.
Or Checo's seat?
Nah. I don't know.
Well, I guess Ricardo's not back yet. Okay, what happens if Ricardo becomes healthy? Do they just make that swap because they've already clinched?
Well, dude, so AlphaTauri locked in their driver, moving it around.
Yeah, okay,
here.
let's save this for the news. I have
Yeah.
a lot about this.
Yeah, when we get to AlphaTauri, we'll talk about that.
Yeah. We'll stick on the race right now, though. So
let's talk
the other story, McLaren.
McLaren, dude. Oh, my fucking God, man. A double podium. Lando Norris finishing second. Piastri, his first ever podium. He looked good. He looked poised. Yeah. Man, that team has had such a turnaround, dude.
It's
Going
amazing.
from the first 2 races, they were literally the worst team on the grid. They were so fucking bad. To now, a dub pod, Lando back-to-back pods. They're fucking fiery.
So what's interesting about this, too, though, is Lando was very fast. So just as some perspective as to how fast Max was as well, Lando was 19 seconds behind Max, but then Piastri was 17 seconds behind Lando.
Wow.
Damn.
So, it was a pretty dominant performance for Lando as well, and it was interesting because Piastri actually started P2. They really switched, but it was also he let him pass. Lando had much faster pace. The team called. There was a lot of this in this race. A lot of team radios calling for, hey, let him through.
Yeah.
Which we'll talk a lot about that when we get to Mercedes here. But what a showing for McLaren. They looked really good. They as a team must be so excited for the future right now,
man. Yeah.
But I still think I'm not convinced that Lando doesn't end up in Red Bull. Maybe not next year, but I think that the in the grand scheme, there is still a reality where Lando and Max dominate Red Bull together, and Piastri, I guess, would become number 1 in McLaren, and they'd fill the seat.
Yeah.
I don't think that that's impossible.
I think Lando has the most points of any driver all time without a win right now. And so
I saw that he passed Hulkenberg.
Yeah. Which, again, we talked about the deconstructor standings for most damage you've caused. Also, that's not a good list to be the top of. But it's also shows that he's consistent, he's good. It's going to make that first win that he has that much sweeter and better. But it's just going to be tricky to get that done with McLaren this season. They've got a car that can do it if it's at the right track. They've shown that they could put that car in positions to win. But the only time that anyone has beaten a Red Bull this year is when Singapore last week, when for whatever reason Red Bull just
slapped and didn't show up.
I don't know if they pulled out the wrong cars from the truck this last at Singapore, but yeah. Like he deserves a win. You know,
Totally.
He deserves a fucking win.
He'll get one.
Will he go to Red Bull? I don't know. Helmut Marko loves him.
I saw some pictures of him, Max, and Horner.
I saw Horner was trooping at him on the podium too.
Yeah,
he was like,
I
"Hey,
think,
Lando."
Put it this way, I could definitely see it, but I think if he doesn't, McLaren, he's going to be getting a bag from McLaren to stay.
Yeah. Also, talking podiums, did you see the trophies they gave out this year?
Yes.
What'd you
Okay,
think
I
of
was going to
those,
ask your thoughts on this.
Kiss activated?
Yeah. Okay. So
Really?
I hated it, and then I loved it, and then I kind of hated it again.
They look like speakers. They look
Yeah.
like Bluetooth speakers.
They look
to
like
me.
Bluetooth speakers, and then they have a little kiss me thing, and when the driver kisses it, it lights up with their home flag colors.
Yeah.
The idea, I kind of like it. Okay,
Respect the hustle of it. But
it's
like,
okay. It's
just
very.
kinda weird.
I would expect this from Japan,
Same.
right?
Same.
Like Japan, does interesting things. You
Yeah.
know, like I feel like the pop culture there is very like on the surface, sometimes bizarre seeming to us relative to our pop culture, but then it ends up being really cool here. So maybe they're just ahead of the time on this.
Yeah.
What I think they should have done is made it look a little bit more unassuming and also not said anything about it. Like if they
and
didn't
then
literally
he kisses it and it's like, oh,
and then it happens.
that's cool.
Like that would have
Yeah.
been more interesting.
way
Like,
cooler.
it
Yeah.
kind of like
they're just not sexy trophies.
no,
They're
I
just like they look like Sonos speakers.
Yeah,
like
the
that's
head-
literally what they look
their
like.
heads are in the right place.
Yes.
Like I like the idea, but the execution was a little underwhelming.
They give them like Galaxy S8s here.
It's kind of like yeah, exactly. It's kind of like have you seen in the Hunger Games where she like goes out in the dress and then she spins around and
Oh,
all
yeah,
the fire
catches
goes
on
everywhere
fire.
and it's like oh the girl on fire. If they would have like made it more surprising like that,
Yeah.
imagine if like Max
Not
is
on
up there.
fire, but something cool.
On fire would be cool.
Yeah, like fireworks come out, shoots him
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
eye.
So I was gonna say, imagine Max is up there and he wins the race, and it just looks like a normal trophy, and then they're like, kiss it, and he kisses it, and it's like, pew, like
Yeah,
laser
birds
beams.
come out.
Yeah, it like shoots a laser into the sky of his flag or
He, like,
something.
it like takes it
insane.
off in the air and he's like holding onto it.
Yes, see, now we're talking. It was actually attached to like a hidden zip line, and
Yeah,
it like
yeah.
pulls him into the air. Yeah, now we're talking.
Yeah,
Let's
that'd be
spitball
cool.
this a little bit.
That would
would've
be
been cool.
sweet.
Okay, let's go down the teams a little bit.
Yeah.
Ferrari, Leclerc finished 4th. Fine drive for him and Sainz.
Yeah, I thought they had a good drive, man. Sainz was battling back against Mercedes at the end, which we got to talk about this battle because I think we got to start with Mercedes here.
Yeah,
Let's start with Mercedes.
Okay, really quick before
Yeah.
we do that, there isn't really much to say on Leclerc other than it was like a pretty solid drive, but he was never really in contention to challenge for the podium.
Definitely.
So,
but
moving on.
But he thought I don't know if he passed Checo when Checo was retiring
yeah,
and
no,
he thought he was in third or if
He passed Checo when Checo unretired to serve his penalty,
Yes.
and he thought that it was Max.
Yeah, so he thought he was in
And
third
so
place.
Yeah. And so-
Didn't he sit down in the third place chair at the
Yeah,
end too?
so that was the most interesting thing that Leclerc did all weekend. But honestly, in his defense, like who retires and unretires,
it comes out.
That's not a thing.
Yeah,
so I get where
guess.
he's coming
in
from.
his defense, but also like, how about Ferrari say, "Hey man, you're in P4"? Like
Yeah.
I don't know.
You would think who you got? You have Leclerc this week or George Russell saying, "But I was predicted to take a podium. I was projected to podium." Who you got?
Russell's is cringier, way cringier.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. So okay, speaking of Russell, Mercedes and Ferrari, let's talk about this battle at the end between Hamilton, Sainz, and Russell.
Yeah. Well, before the end, I want to start with there was some wheel-to-wheel racing with Russell and Hamilton towards the beginning of the race where they were going at it, man. Like there was no non-battle called right there. They were pushing each other off track, and so it was kind of like contentious right there at the beginning between them. And I was
there
kind
were
of
a
surprised
couple
that
radio
they were
calls.
really like going at it.
Totally. There were a couple radio calls. One of George saying, "Are we racing them or are we racing each other?" Or
Yes.
something along those lines.
Yes.
And then also Hamilton got called through by the team radio, and Russell like wasn't going to let him pass, and then he like reluctantly did let him pass, but then he was still pushing for the position.
Yes.
Yeah, I also saw that.
Wait, George Russell is a Mercedes guy?
Yeah.
Oh my God, Jake.
Yeah, we'll cut that out.
Okay. Yes.
What's the
No,
other-
we're leaving this in.
Yeah.
What's the other?
Lewis Hamilton.
Lewis Hamilton.
No, I know. There's somebody else. What's like the blue team?
Williams.
Alpine.
Yeah, Williams. Yeah.
Or Williams, yeah.
Who are the drivers for Williams?
Sargent
And
and
Albon.
Albon.
Okay, I thought George Russell was for Williams.
No. Okay.
Continue.
Maybe we
I'm
will
sorry.
cut this
Alright,
out. I don't
alright.
know.
What were we
okay.
saying?
No, so I was going to say I saw that. So following the race, they do the cool down lap. Apparently, neither Lewis or George
Okay.
said a single word in the cool down lap and did not acknowledge each other in the paddock like post race. Like I think they're genuinely like bad blood right now.
I think they're pissed. Well,
which I love.
Also, when Hamilton was in front of George at the end, and Hamilton and George are going together, they're cruising through, and Hamilton overtakes Leclerc to go into 5th, and then he is gaining on Sainz. And George Russell was pissed because Hamilton wouldn't give him DRS to help him pass also Leclerc. And so then at the end, and they were trying to like, or what, let me look
Sainz, but yeah, you're right.
Yes, yeah. And then like, so it was kind of like what Sainz did last week where he kept Lando in his DRS range so the other guy couldn't pass. Hamilton didn't do that to Russell, so Russell kind of was left out to hang.
Yeah.
So he was pissed off there as well too.
Yeah, so he ended up getting passed by Sainz. And he did Sainz called it out. He said they're trying to steal my move.
Yes,
they're trying to use my
move against me.
Yeah, they're trying to use my move against me, which yeah, I know. I love it makes it very interesting when there's bad blood on a team. And this is a team where I love to see it just because they had been so dominant, and so it's nice to see like it's more interesting to see it on like a Mercedes than it would be to see it on like Haas.
Agreed.
You know, where it's like, okay, literally who cares? This is exciting. Have you seen, I saw a clip that was a guy who was really good at impersonating all the drivers, and he was impersonating them as interviews. And his George Russell one, he was basically like, yeah, you know, it's really hard to be on a team. It's very hard to be the number 2 driver on a top performing team, but Lewis is handling it very well. I was like, it's so George Russell, like fake humility. But I mean, who do you think George thinks that he's the number 1?
Well, no. I think George knows he's not the number 1 driver.
Do you think so?
I think he wants to believe he is. I think like by virtue, I think like he technically is the number 1 driver because they give Hamilton the yellow little thing above his helmet that shows like this is the number 2 driver. But Hamilton at the end of the day is the baby golden child of Mercedes now and forever, will always be. And I think they've been pretty friendly. You know, Hamilton and Russell, they've been like friendly, like relationship with each other. This to me was Hamilton being like, I'm not your guy, pal. Like, I'm not your buddy. Like, I'm in it for myself and fuck you, literally.
Well, I think it's one of those things where like, Hamilton to Russell is one of those things where he's like, oh, really? Like, I don't think about you at all. You know, like it's almost like I don't even have time to like be upset or care because I just like I just don't even think about you at all, which is actually more offensive.
Worse.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the situation there. I love to see it though. It was very interesting.
Yeah.
Moving down the line, Aston Martin, Fernando Alonso, P8. Solid drive from him. He was very pissed about the car though.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on there. I mean, Lance Stroll didn't finish. Shocker. And Fernando finished in the points. He made it to Q3. Again, he's the only driver to be in Q3 every single race, which is really awesome. But he was pretty pissed off. I don't know. It was one of those things where he performed worse than he thought he should. They weren't really in contention for anything meaningful, so it was kind of like...
I kind of see Aston Martin being one of those teams that like they just haven't developed that car as they needed to. And we see like them... where McLaren is now is kind of where Aston Martin started the season. And we saw them kind of swap places.
Yeah.
I still think Alonso is outperforming the car by all means.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I think he's still like doing a phenomenal job. I see them kind of getting like a couple points here and there.
Well,
like
by them, you mean Alonso.
Lance Does Stroll have any points?
Do you think Stroll will score? Yeah, so let me take a look here. So in the Drivers' Championship...
Stroll has 47 points. He's in 10th right now.
Yeah,
which, okay.
Do you think Stroll will score more than 10 points in the remainder of the season?
Nah, I think their car isn't good enough for him to like get points. And if he does get points, they're going to be like little like points here and there, like a 10th place finish or a 9th place finish.
Yeah, like just in the points. Yeah. Speaking of 10th and 9th, Alpine, Esteban Ocon finishing 9th, Pierre Gasly finishing 10th. Pretty solid for them, I guess.
Did you hear about this, though? Did you see this? So they let Gasly pass Ocon. So Gasly could make a run at Fernando at the end. And then Gasly was not able to get the job done. So, like, 2 laps left. They come over the radio and say... Last lap. They say, Gasly, like, give the spot back to Ocon. And Gasly is like, fuck you. No, I'm not giving that spot back. I'm not doing it. And then on the last turn, he slams on his brakes, lets Ocon go by. He is throwing a fucking
like pounding
temper tantrum,
on the wheel.
man. He's acting like a toddler that you just took his like binky away, who's had a spoiled life. He flipped off Ocon too.
Wow. Okay, so
that's what I saw, man.
Yeah,
I saw it. I'm gonna say he flipped off Ocon.
So
and we got like a lot of bad blood this week.
There's
a lot of like infighting bad blood here.
There's a screen grab of him going like this with his finger up, but if you watch the video, he's just like pounding it. Now, was there a little subliminal like
I didn't mean to do this, but like my body's telling me to?
Yeah, like I don't know, but it was a misleading screen grab, but he was pissed.
He was pissed, dude.
Also, here's the thing though. Why? Like, why have them make that switch? You're talking about the difference between a single point. Pierre has 46 points in the Drivers' Championship. Ocon has 38. They're in 11th and 12th. Like, why? I kind of understand. Also, keep in mind, so
why switch him back? You're saying
right? If Pierre gets that extra point, by the way, he flips Stroll for 10th, but Ocon gains nothing.
There you go.
No, but they took the point away from Pierre.
Do it. Oh, you're right.
Yeah, so I'm saying is like, what's the point?
I think it's more of the principle of like, okay, Ocon and Gasly. Gasly, you don't have the pace to overtake Ocon, but you might have enough pace to get to Alonso. Like, let's try to get some more points out of this.
I
get that.
And if it's 10th and 11th, I get it. So you're giving Ocon the point that he deserved, but it's 9th and 10th. Who cares?
I'm with. It's petty as fuck.
I'm taking Team Gasly on this. I don't co-sign the reaction, but I do understand
the frustration.
The frustration of being like literally you're splitting hairs, and also he could have flipped Stroll in the Drivers' Championship, and now he didn't. I mean, he will.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of see though that like, hey, we're gonna give you this chance to go and take Alonso. He didn't do it. Okay, give the spot back. That's what they did.
He
let him pass him to go try to get Alonso. Didn't.
Well, but they waited until the last lap, though. Just I don't know. It just seems petty.
It seems fair to me. It seems like, hey, like Ocon was rightfully in front of you. Gasly would not be in front of you, Ocon, had you have not let him pass in the first place.
Okay, I see both sides of this, but what I don't understand is if they're doing it purely from a strategical perspective, strategical is not a word. If they did it purely in order to have good strategy, they should have had Gasly get the extra point for the Drivers' Championship. Which and I don't even think that they.
But it's out of respect for their drivers.
But then Ocon should have just been like, "It's a point. Who cares? Let's finish the race." I don't know. I see both sides.
I think Alpine made the right call. I think Gasly's being kind of a little bitch on this. But also, if you flash back, these two have a history.
Oh yeah, they didn't like each other. At one point.
Yeah. One of them stole the other person's girlfriend.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah.
That's not even what I was thinking. They had a lot of on-the-track stuff,
I don't remember whomst stole whomst girlfriend.
Whomst among us stole...
One of them had a girlfriend that the other one ended up taking. And so
can you Google this really quick?
Yeah,
can I guess? My guess is that Gasly stole Ocon's girlfriend.
Oh, I kind of think Ocon's a little snake and probably stole Gasly's
Can you look this up?
Girlfriend. That's my...
Should look on Gasly.
Ocon stolen girlfriend. O-C-O-N.
Yeah, ex-F1 driver claims Pierre Gasly stole Esteban Ocon's girlfriend. So you called it. You were right.
Dude, Pierre's that dude. Remember, when we were talking about this, when I was saying how when we're talking about guys we'd want to hang out with, I wouldn't want to hang out with Pierre because he's like the cool sly dude who will like have no shame and basically stealing your girl. I mean,
and like apparently if I ever get the chance to meet him, I'm not bringing my girl around.
That's what I'm saying. Or Alonso, obviously.
But like if my girlfriend left me for Alonso, I wouldn't be mad.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know, it's like, hey, do your thing.
Alonso's the guy where you're like, yeah, no, I get it.
yeah. Like I can't be him. Yeah. Clearly, none of us can.
He is him.
Yes.
So. No, that's fair. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So there is bad blood already.
There's bad blood, man.
So who has worse blood, those two or Russell Hamilton?
I feel like with Mercedes, they're going to get it under control. You know?
Toto will
get it under control and be like, George, quit being a little bitch. You know, with this Alpine one, man, that team is just a fucking dumpster fire. They got no management.
I mean, since it's off the track, like it's off like way like doesn't even have to do with racing necessarily.
No.
So like that's like maybe unrepairable.
Yeah.
Can we talk about something off topic really quick? But I just thought of it because we were talking about Mercedes. First of all, not even Mercedes. Did you see the Sebastian Vettel thing?
I saw he was there.
So he has like a bee farm, I guess, in Japan.
A bee farm?
Bee farm. Okay. Like beehive farm.
I thought you said beef arm.
No, not a beefy arm. He might have a beefy arm, but no, he has a bee farm.
All right.
And that's apparently what he's doing now that he's retired, which is pretty cool, by the way. But all of the drivers showed up for like his grand opening and to like do this cool bee thing. Every single one of them was wearing team gear except for one person. Guess who that person was?
George Russell?
No.
Was it Gasly or Ocon?
No.
Was it
Close. It's so obvious once we talk about it.
Who is it?
Hamilton.
Oh.
Must he dress like an ass all the time?
He's probably wearing like a Save the Bees t-shirt.
He was wearing like super high fashion,
God,
baggy clothes. Come on, man. Like, I get it. You're the fashion guy. You're going to be a model or what. You already are a model, but when you're done with F1, you're going to be like some crazy high fashion thing that I'm too poor to even think about or whatever.
Yeah, or know what's going on.
Why? It's just annoying. It just is like, hey, look at me.
It's pick me energy.
It's pick me energy, but he's like, but I'm not a pick me guy, but like pick me.
If you're saying I'm not a pick me guy, you're
a pick me guy. You know what I mean? He like tries so hard to just be edgy that it drives me crazy.
And it's also you're a billionaire or like a multi-millionaire.
Yeah.
Like
I know. I just thought it was a little annoying. He always like makes himself stand out in that way, and he's not the only one. Other people do it too. I know we're picking on him a little bit, but yeah, it was just annoying.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on back to the race. My boys, my team, AlphaTauri. What thoughts? Just give me your thoughts.
Well, dude, so AlphaTauri's locked in Yuki and Daniel Ricciardo for next year. That's the confirmed drivers lineup.
Yep.
After Logan Sargent has had banger after banger after banger of races, man. This man is the best looking rookie I've seen since the movie The Rookie, when what's-his-face came out and was throwing fastballs in the MLB.
Yep.
Like,
Bruce
Willis.
Springsteen.
No, it doesn't matter.
Bruce Springsteen.
Either way, dude. Like, not Sargent.
Definitely not Sargent. Lawson,
thank you, man.
I was really confused for a sec because you just said Logan Sargent, and I was like, wait.
Oh, did I say Sargent?
Oh, we're talking about Liam Lawson.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I'm with Logan Sargent, and I was like, wait.
Fuck.
Logan Sargent is a rookie? And I was
he is a rookie, but right? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But
wow.
Okay, backtrack. Liam Lawson is the best rookie we've seen in a long time, at least right out of the gate.
Yeah, and I feel like Lawson and Yuki had this battle this race. They were going elbows out. Lawson ended up finishing in front of Yuki by one position. Both of them finished, I think, where they should have been. But to me, that was Lawson saying, like, hey, like, fuck you doing. Like, I'm not going to go down without a fight. He deserves a seat next year. He, like, to me, is going to be a better driver than Daniel Ricciardo will be
100%.
Every single day.
The wrong move is not them re-signing Yuki. The wrong move is them re-signing Ricciardo.
Exactly.
Especially if this is supposed to be a developmental junior team.
Yes.
Like, and I love Daniel Ricciardo. I love having him in F1. It's very exciting and interesting. But from a purely, like, trying to develop a team and win perspective, you have to have those two. It makes no sense.
Or even just from a performance perspective.
Well, that's what I mean.
Even like remove like all that aside. Like look at the numbers. Like why would you then take a risk and drop Lawson when the man is performing on his third race? He beat Yuki. You finally have a guidepost where Yuki finishes a race,
I would say,
and you're like, nah, screw you, man.
He started the race.
And you're like, nah, Daniel Ricciardo with the broken hand, like, nah, we still like this guy better.
Yeah, it was like a truly, truly even race. So their split was 2/10.
Yeah.
It was very close. And also, early in the race, Yuki undercut with a pit to pass Lawson, and then Lawson did the same thing later on, undercut Yuki. So like it's essentially even.
Yes.
And which is honestly a win for Lawson being so new. It's very impressive. So
Agreed.
I did see that allegedly Red Bull has guaranteed Lawson a seat in 2025.
Interesting.
So basically they've been like,
on Red Bull or on AlphaTauri?
A seat.
Okay.
Yeah, so so one of the two teams. So it'll be Red Bull or whatever the new AlphaTauri is because they're rebranding. So essentially, that was part of, or allegedly, that was part of his 2024 reserve deal, that he has had a guaranteed seat in 25. So the question is, does he try to swoop in and take that Williams seat? First of all, does Williams even try to go for Lawson? And then second, if they do, does he swap or does he wait out a year to try to get that reserve seat? Or try to get the seat the following year.
So what I've seen with Williams is they're going after Felipe Dragovich to fill Sargent's seat. And if we kind of talk about Williams real quick, Sargent had an abysmal fucking weekend, man. You talked about how he crashed in qualifying. He crashed in the race. Albon got punted out of the race too by not his fault. So they had like a real tough race this weekend. Williams did. Sargent has to do one thing, is not fucking crash. He just has to finish races and he would have a seat next year.
Yeah.
That's all he has to do.
He's totally spent at this point. Like it's
he's
over.
Done,
it's
man.
over.
He's done. He's done.
It's long over.
Lawson should go there as a lone driver with Williams. Will he? I don't think so, though.
Probably not, especially with Williams being the Mercedes affiliated team. Yeah, so I doubt it. If I were Lawson, I would take the reserve seat, and more likely than not, he will get pulled up next year for Checo, I would imagine. I don't think Checo is like out right now. I think we're going to start 2024 with Checo in a seat, and I think it's going to be very short-lived. And it's probably going to be either Lawson or Ricciardo. But I think the smart move would actually be, honestly, can Checo drop in Lawson right now? Lawson, Max, Ricciardo, Yuki. I think that would be. I think
that's a smart move too.
That's what I would do. But that
like Red Bull has
the
the constructors
sense.
Locked. They have nothing to lose at this point. Why not put Lawson in place of Checo? But I think you're right, man. Like for whatever reason, like Checo's got like a decent contract there through next year.
Or they're selling a lot of T-shirts in Mexico. So
true, man. True, but like I don't know. Red Bull's also given Checo like a no pressure situation. They've literally told him like, hey, we don't expect you to win the world championship. That's what Max's job is. Your job is to go out there and just not fuck up. And
well,
dude,
apparently
it's
to take out half the field.
Bad, bro. He's been bumper cars all weekend.
He demolished Albon.
Yeah, he did, dude. Yeah, so I'm surprised by AlphaTauri's decision. Not surprised at the same time. Ricciardo brings a ton of marketability, especially if they're going to go with a apparel company to sponsor with Hugo Boss or Adidas. That makes sense. They're going to sell way more Adidas T-shirts with Ricciardo than with Lawson. Lawson's is still a good-looking guy, but Ricciardo's the honey badger.
Danny Rick's honey badger, yeah. I understand the Yuki signing. Like, I'm obviously biased because I really like both the team and the driver, but he has had flashes of greatness, and he has had flashes of not greatness. And then there's been a lot of inconsistencies with the team and the car sprinkled in. So I'm not completely convinced that we've seen... Like, I don't know that we've had a really good measuring of how good he is.
I don't think we have either.
Like, I really don't know if we know how good he is or could be. And there's been a lot of question marks. Like, he dominates De Vries, but then Lawson comes in, and first 3 races, he's on par. Mm-hmm. You know, so it's really hard to say. So I think it's the right move. And also, it sounds like the Honda partnership with Yuki, those ties are extremely deep. And so it's really Honda more than it's Red Bull, I think, probably keeping him there. And Honda is going to remain in F1 post their contract with Red Bull when they make the move to Aston Martin, or like Aston Martin picks up the Honda powertrain. I still think that's where we're heading. Mm-hmm. I think we're heading to Yuki, Stroll going to play professional tennis or whatever, and Yuki filling that role. We'll see. So last 2 teams really quick. Zhou Guanyu finished 13th with Alfa Romeo. Valtteri Bottas didn't finish. Did you know that they raced this weekend?
I knew Bottas raced because I saw him get punted off the track in lap 1 where they showed his car for literally 2 seconds. So that's the only time I saw Bottas in the race.
I didn't even see Zhou Guanyu in the race.
I didn't see him either.
I don't know if they showed him on TV one time.
13th? Respectable.
Yeah, it's fine.
Respectable.
But
especially when there were 7 cars that didn't finish, though. Like, I guess that's like default.
100%. Yeah, but like, the thing about Alfa Romeo is they're just there every week. It blows my mind. Haas is not too different, but I feel like every single week, it's like, you know that meme of the Earth and then the stick figure poking it being like, do something? That's literally Alfa Romeo. The most standout memory in my mind of them is still Zhou Guanyu crashing last year. Mm-hmm. You know?
Poor guys.
I wish I had, and I don't mind either of them. I think they're both solid drivers. Like, they seem like good enough dudes. I just do something.
They get forgotten about.
Totally.
Because they're just like not even competing for points. We talk about AlphaTauri a lot, which is weird because AlphaTauri is behind Alfa Romeo in the points. But there's just a lot to talk about with AlphaTauri. They're very interesting.
Yeah.
Like,
I think it's
Alfa Romeo is like that kid that you like graduated high school with, and you're like, wait, I had classes with you for 4 years?
Yes,
like,
exactly.
Who are you?
I think part of it, though, totally agreed, first of all. I think part of it, though, is that AlphaTauri has the tie to Red Bull, whereas Alfa Romeo has the tie to Ferrari, and Ferrari on its own is already a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
And so Alfa Romeo is just not a dumpster fire, but it's just bad.
Yeah.
You know?
Well said.
And so the other team remaining being Haas, who only is marginally more notable than Alfa Romeo on any given weekend, finished 14th, 15th, just
Yeah, bad weekend for them.
Just not a great weekend. Yeah.
What we expected for Haas, I'd say.
Yeah, I expect them to finish not last and not in the points every
time. Same with Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, and so I guess if they just maintain that level of like D+ to C+ driving, then yeah, good for you guys. You met your probably not your goal, but at least my expectations.
I think we got to have a quick tattoo bet update.
Yeah, I was going to say. Too. So tattoo bet update.
I'm still looking good.
Haas is
still looking good.
Haas
quick
is
update.
In 8th.
I'm okay.
Haas is in 8th with 12 points. Alfa Romeo is in 9th with 10 points. AlphaTauri is in 10th with 5 points.
Neither of these teams got points this weekend.
I think you were very close to not being okay this weekend.
How?
We have Lawson and Sonoda 11-12. That could have been 9-10. That could have been. They were both running in the points at one point.
Bo,
we're gonna get a double. Okay,
Bo,
we're going.
Hey man, I love the energy, but there's a reason why I said that they're not gonna finish above it because it's so hard if you're not one of the top 5 teams to get points. Because guess what? Alpine and Williams are way better teams than AlphaTauri is right now. And so if there's any scraps to pick up, guess who's gonna pick those up? Oh, Alpine picked those scraps up this weekend. The weekend before, guess who picked up the scraps?
I'm not convinced.
Williams did. Guess who didn't pick up the scraps? AlphaTauri. For them to pick up scraps, man, there's gonna be a lot of scraps left. There's gonna be a lot of scraps.
They're gonna be eating scraps left and right. I'm not convinced.
No, they're not.
I'm not convinced that you want to up the ante. I'm not convinced. How many races are left?
I think there's like 6 or 7 left. I want to say.
I'm not convinced that we don't see an AlphaTauri finish above P5 this year.
What?
I think one of them will sniff the podium
P5
this year.
or better.
P5?
P5 or better. One of them will finish P5 or better this year at some point.
AlphaTauri?
Yes.
Which is who? Who are the drivers?
Yuki Tsunoda and Liam Lawson. And or Danny Ricciardo.
Ooh.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 races left. I could maybe see that happening. If there's a race that would happen, it'd be Brazil. Because Brazil always has crazy fucking races.
Danny Rick's going to come back for the Austin Grand Prix.
And win it?
And
yes. Win it.
No. Dude, I'm going to be honest, Bo. Okay. I thought you were crazy for saying they weren't going to finish last. You're fucking certified insane.
They're not going to finish
5th.
No, they're not going to finish 5th as a team. One of them will have a 5th or better finish.
No, they won't.
Yes, they will.
No, they won't.
It's got to be Liam Lawson.
It's in the books.
With
Jake, you asked me which team George Russell was on literally 10 minutes ago. All right, you know what? Respect.
Yeah, but I mean, if you want to up it to like a nipple piercing or something.
I can't do a piercing.
Paul's got a parlay now. His bet.
Yeah, wait. How do we parlay this bet?
I mean, like
you have to hit both for you now.
Well, no, but what's the punishment?
If they get 5th or better, they're gonna hit the constructor.
Okay.
You know, so like if they hit that,
it's an auto win.
Yeah,
it's an auto win for sure.
Double win, yeah.
What, I get like 2 tattoos or something? I get a bigger tattoo?
No, it's got to be something for Bo if they.
Well, no, it'd be for each of us. If you what the penalty is,
we'll figure it out.
That's the side bet. We have a prop bet, and then we have the main bet. The main bet is does AlphaTauri finish last in the constructors? The prop bet is does one of them finish P5 or better in a race this year?
Yeah,
we need to think of a reward and or punishment for that.
Yeah, I think it's less of like if that happens. First off, I'd be shocked, but also maybe you like I don't know, you buy like some drinks or something.
Boo. We'll think of something good. Stay tuned. By next week, or maybe not. Eventually, we'll have a better idea. I do think it's going to happen though, and that pretty much wraps up the race itself.
Yeah, I got one more thing to say.
What do you got?
I don't know if you saw Hamilton post race. He was in. They had a QR code that you could scan.
Oh, I did hear about this.
It was on TV, and people were scanning the QR code, and you could order drinks basically. And so I guess like over 1,000 people ordered Red Bulls at his like little hangout area with that QR code to him.
I love that.
Yeah.
Very funny. I love when fans like troll people and it's
effective
too. Yeah. And it's like a harmless troll mostly.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I mean, it's like rich people who, it's a Robin Hood troll. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's just jump straight. We typically do the mini award show last. Do we want to do mini award show and then talk some headlines and get out of here?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
So mini award show, P1 of the week. Who you got, Nick?
I mean, I'll say this one. Lando Norris going back-to-back podiums, finishing second. Great race, great great quality. Great quality. Lando, easy. I know who you're going to say.
Solid answer. It was, yeah, absolutely. I'm going to bring it to Jake. Jake, do you have a P1?
I mean, do I need to say it? Do I really even need to say it? Obviously, my boy, Landon, again.
Landon Morris.
Landon Morris.
Double podium. So, yeah.
That's fair.
I'm liking McLaren and Landon. I'm liking McLaren a lot these days.
Good. That's awesome. I'm assuming that you are assuming that my P1 is going to be Piastri.
Oh, yeah.
Which I did have just McLaren collectively on my board.
Fair.
And so that is an obvious answer and the right answer, really. But just to shake it up a little bit, I am going to stick with Red Bull.
Oh, right.
No. I'm going to stick with Red Bull.
Red Bull is your P1 of the week?
Yeah, dude. It's really Max Verstappen.
Okay, that's a better answer.
I was going to give it to the team because it is a team sport and they did win the constructors.
Yeah.
But Max is very fast at driving race cars.
Yeah, he's very fast.
Yeah,
he's very
turns
fast.
out he's very, very fast. So Red Bull, not Checo.
Red Bull minus Checo.
Yeah, so like the team, not the drivers.
Okay.
But plus Max.
And okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
I like that. All right.
Well deserved. Ferrari of the week. Who you got?
Sergio Perez. The man did not know how to drive a race car this weekend. I think they're investigating if he should still drive his normal car every day after that weekend. So, Perez is an easy Ferrari of the week.
Yeah, I've never seen someone need to be less worried than Checo Perez is currently about his seat.
He's not worried.
Yeah, no shot. No, that's a great answer. I also had him on my board.
Nice.
My Ferrari of the week then is going to be Williams. They looked really bad. They both DNF'd. Granted, it wasn't really Albon's fault, but as a team, not great. And really, I should be more specific to Logan Sargent. Because he, really, it's Logan Sargent, my Ferrari of the week, because he has every opportunity to save his own seat. It feels like he jumped off of a cruise ship or like a boat, and they're literally holding the life stick thing, being like, grab on, we want to save you. And he's like, no.
What?
He's like swimming the other way. Like they're trying to save him, and he's just, it's over.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I don't think they want to fire him, but they're putting him in a spot where they have to fire him.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
You know?
Like they definitely didn't want him to be gone, but he's really trying hard to not be gone.
Yeah.
Or to be gone.
Gone, yes.
Yeah. So Ferrari of the week, unfortunately, is Logan Sargent. Shake and bake of the week. Who you got?
McLaren, dude. Piastri and Lando up there. Double podium. Piastri just taking it like a fucking champ, acting like he's been there before. Shake and bake.
Yep. Love that. I have one as well. It is Alfa Romeo and being irrelevant. Because
shake and bake.
Shake and bake.
I got one more.
Okay.
Sebastian Vettel in Japan. This is his favorite Grand Prix.
Yeah.
Loved racing here.
Well, we're hearing
He had
rumors
some media
now.
headline. It's he was there this weekend, staring as the cars go by with a little tear in his eye. Sad to see that. Shake and bake.
Well, we're hearing rumors.
Vettel.
I would maybe just say Vettel in motorsports because we're hearing rumors of him coming back now. Not
to F1?
No, not to F1.
But to
like
racing?
other racing series.
Fuck yeah.
That's the rumor I've been reading on the interwebs.
Yeah, cool.
So I don't think it's probably too far off. Yeah, that was what I had for the awards show.
Yeah.
What about headlines? Do you have anything to kind of wrap up the show with? Big headlines?
I don't think I do. Do you have anything?
I do. I have one, and it's kind of like a little brain teaser to stay excited about both the rest of this season and next season.
Fun.
So it's this chart that shows current F1 driver contracts and when the current contracts expire. So Max Verstappen's is off the chart. His expires in 2028, so he's going to be around for a long time. Oscar Piastri just signed a contract through 2026. Lando Norris, George Russell, and Hamilton through 2025. Let me name off the drivers whose contracts expire in 2024, at the end of 2024. Oh, by the way, Logan Sargent is not on the board because he hasn't signed a contract. So drivers whose contracts expire at the end of next season. Albon, Hülkenberg, Magnussen, Tsunoda, Ricciardo, Stroll, Alonso, Zhou Guanyu, Bottas, Gasly, Ocon, Sainz, Leclerc, Perez.
All but
14.
Jeez.
All but
14.
six?
All but Russell, Hamilton, Piastri, Norris, Verstappen, all but 5.
Jeez. So what you're saying is next year is gonna
season.
be crazy.
Yeah, so I think for a lot of the drama that we didn't get this year with silly season, next year is shaping up to be crazy.
The silliest.
So silly.
Super, uber silly.
I'm gonna be tickled. I don't know. I'm already feeling goofy about it.
Yeah.
14 contracts are up for renewal next year.
That's insane.
And potentially 15 if whoever Sargent gets replaced by, assuming he's gone, is a 1 year, which is probably going to happen.
Yeah, especially with everything else.
That's like 3/4 of like the NFL or the NBA like being like, all right, let's switch.
Where
teams.
are we going?
Yeah. Who's going to be in the league next year? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like signs, rumors, he's going to Audi. I see Leclerc locking back in with Ferrari. I see Lando.
I think he takes that Red Bull seat.
You think he goes?
But
he's until 2025, right?
Yes, but I mean, his contract can get bought out.
Yeah.
I think that he...
I mean, the big question next year is going to be who's taking Perez. No way. I mean, I don't think he's going to make it through next year. I don't think he's going to make it through this year, but that's going to be the
I think he'll make it through this year, but I don't think he'll make it through next year. Yeah.
I want to see Ferrari. In that seat, man.
Both Ferrari seats are going to be potentially up for grabs. I mean...
Okay, do you think we'll see someone come out of retirement?
Yeah, or do you think we'll see someone retire? Like, do you think Alonso will retire?
No. I think if someone offers him a contract, he'll stick around.
Okay, so presumably Aston Martin. Lewis, no, I think he'll stick around. I think he's still got... at the beginning of this year, he's kind of seemed over it. I feel like he's got the itch again.
I think he does too.
Yeah.
I just don't think he's got... I think he wants to win again, though.
Well,
what if he goes to Red Bull?
I think... Oh,
what if he goes
that
to
won't
Red
happen.
Bull,
That
dude?
won't happen.
That'd be
No way.
Crazy.
No way. I think it's more likely you'd see Russell go to Red Bull to try to stick it to Hamilton, but I don't think that's going to happen either. I think that...
What if he had another ham boat action at Mercedes?
Yeah, well, yeah, right. I think that beef now between him and Russell is what's going to keep Hamilton in longer.
He needs something.
Like, it's a little bit of an edge. Yeah, it's like a fire to, like, you know, it was like him with what's his face earlier in his career, Rosberg. Yeah, like kind of that same thing. Like, you need that competition to keep you alive.
Yeah.
Gasly and Ocon, I think the teams that are likely to re-sign both people, I think they're likely, being the French team and two French drivers, they're both doing just fine. I think that they're likely to re-sign.
Dude, I could see Albon going somewhere big. I could see him going to Ferrari.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, he did have a stint with Red Bull, so I don't know, maybe. It's going to be crazy, though. There's going to be a lot of shakeups, so that's kind of the note I want to leave us on this week. So there's a lot
to think about.
Yeah, there's some silly stuff to look forward to in the future.
Yeah.
All right, have a nice week.
Yeah, bye, guys.
We hope you enjoyed the effing podcast. Check out our socials for additional content, and we will see you out on the grid.